Here we are at our Chapter 5, Target 4, Problem 8b from the study guide. We're asked to factor using the sum and difference of perfect cubes. And in just looking at our problem, we notice that we have 8a raised to the third power. That number 8 is a perfect cube. A being raised to the third power is also a perfect cube. And when you're multiplying these two together, you will end up with an overall a cubed, something being cubed. Likewise, this y raised to the third power, that is a perfect cube as well. So ultimately, we do have that b cubed element there. In this case, we are seeing the difference of these two perfect cubes. Now, again, just going back to San Diego Padres, this is where we're going to go ahead and use that San Diego Padres acronym to kind of help us out with some of the signs with our factor. So inside of our factor, we'll always have a, for the sign, it should be the exact same sign coming from the San part. So in this case, because we have a negative in our problem, we're going to go ahead and for the first parenthesis have a negative there as well. So in our first parenthesis, we'll have a minus b times a squared. Now comes in the Diego part, or the different sign. So because our problem was talking about this negative, we're going to go ahead and change that now to a different sign, the positive sign. So it's a squared plus ab. And then the Padres is always just positive. So we'll have plus b squared at the end. If there are any baseball fans, hopefully that little acronym helps you remember breaking down these sum and differences of cubes, at least for the sign parts. Now what we have to go ahead and do is identify what is our a and what is our b to be able to throw them into this nice little formula. So we're asking ourselves what cubed gives us that a cubed, that 8a cubed. Just starting off with the number, what number cubed gives us 8? 2 would accomplish that. Likewise, because we're trying to get 8a cubed, we have to have that variable a in there. So as a result, now we have a cubed. Well, that definitely gives us that 8a cubed. Now we have to go ahead and find out what is our b. So we're asking ourselves what cubed gives us that b cubed, or that y cubed. Because again, this y cubed was our b cubed. So just asking ourselves what cubed gives us that y cubed, well, y accomplishes that. Y cubed gives us, again, that y cubed. In doing that step, what we have done is identified our a and our b. And so pretty much right now all we have to do is throw them into our nice little formula here. So we have a minus b, so 2a minus our b variable y times our a being squared. I want to emphasize that it is the entire a that we have defined it being squared plus our a times our b. So that's just 2a times our b, y, plus our b being squared, so y squared. Again, I really want to emphasize that with this part right here, I've seen a number of times where students, they just have the a being squared and it's still just 2 in front. So I want to really hit home that it's the entire a that we have found and defined that's going in there, and such then that we're going to go ahead and square both items. The first parenthesis just stays exactly the way it is. It's 2a minus y. But the second part, things can get a little tricky. So just keep in mind what you've defined a to be when we did this part. So 2 being squared gives us 4. A is also being squared there. Multiplying these, we just end up with plus 2ay plus y squared is just y being squared. We really actually should have done that. because then there's our b being squared. But in the end, we still get our y squared. So we would have to ask ourselves, can we break this down any more? Unfortunately, that is all we can do. So this would be our final factored form for, again, Chapter 5, Target 4, Problem 8b from the study guide.